Please let me know once my screen is visible to you. Is it visible? I'm not able to hear any voice, so maybe if anybody can just talk. Okay, yeah, I got the messages, but
Yes.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, audio is also there, so fine.
Yeah.
Fine, thank you. So let's start. Let me share my screen and let's see what NimblrTA live screener on Telegram brings. So just a minute of a summary why I had to create this tool. It is the reason that while we are working in markets, we are looking for live screening that will help us trade a particular instrument. And most of the time there are a lot of widgets available there. I also have multiple tools where we can have these things available. However, in all the different tools which we have, there was something which was predominantly missing. That is that at the pre-open 0900 hours, I did not know what to do. At 97, NSE publishes its data, what all are the pre-open stocks and how they have done. And every time I had to go to that particular site and then scroll it. I used to use filters, then look for some stocks, do up and down, and that used to consume a lot of time. And that was something which I started to work on, and I thought maybe I should have something which helps me ready to use at that particular point of pre-open. So 0900 hours 9 a.m. till 9/7 the consolidation happens in stock market. So whatever you see over during that time, it is not of much use, although you can still get some analysis, but that is still not the final data. But 0907 minute, at that moment of time, we have a time slot from 7 to approximately 15. So those 8 minutes are there for us to analyze stocks, and that is the purpose of NimblrTA live screener, that it will help you analyze the stocks which have happened in the pre-open session. There might be gap up stocks, there might be impulse, there would be a momentum, and so on. So we would have a ready to use list, and based on those, by using little bit of judgment, we can easily track and enter the stocks of interest. So it makes the process very simple. You will be on Telegram and you will have some alerts available, and during those alerts at 9798 you will be able to identify which are the stocks which would be opening on the higher side, and you can accordingly trade with them. So that was the initial purpose why I wanted to have something on Telegram which is completely live and it helps you out. Moving on to the next slide over here. So apart from this, there are multiple other information that is conveyed by the screener. So first one is the pre-open analysis at 0908. We will be going through the complete outcome or how it is actually working. So we will look at a live demo with some illustrative slides, and then we will have a short discussion in case you have any queries further. So in the interest of time, then we just move quickly so that we can actually start and then go through the actual live demo where I would like to spend a little bit more time. Now there will be other parts as well. We will look into the subsequent part of this session where we will be working on how gaps are getting retested. So it might happen a stock opens gap up, but then it retests 2 or 3 days later, or 5 days later, or 7 days later. How will we track that? So that is something told to us ready to use by the screener. We have T candles. If you have been working and you are familiar with NimblrTA concept, so there is a concept of T candles, and T candles allow entries during the session. They are opening or they are going down for momentarily part during that complete session, and then again it goes into upper circuit. So it's basically, you could say, upper circuits are opening, it retraces down, and there are some sellers, and now again the buyers come in. So during that period where the sellers are there and the new buyers are coming, there's a dip in the candle, and that dip in the candle is detected by this particular screener. Now we have fresh impulses, gap up stocks, 88 stocks, stocks which are in momentum, summary of the day. So summary of the day is something which is very interesting because maybe for the next day we would like to see what all are the stocks which did a retest, because next day I would like to trade those stocks or keep them on my watch list. So I would like to have the summary of that particular day. So it becomes a kind of whole thing, whatever has happened during the day, it will be visible to me and I can easily track it. Then we also have the watch list stocks. So this comes at 8:55 and also at the closing session around 3:25. So twice it will come. The purpose is that watch list stocks are stocks which recently got momentum, and very much possible they could continue the ride and move up. And this will happen twice. Any queries until now? The idea is very simple. Why we have this screener and what all it does. So this is just a glimpse what we have tried to summarize, and we will go into more details of how to use it, and then what is the best practices we can try to use the screener accordingly. Anything which might be confusing to you or which you have experienced in couple of days and that was something you would like to bring to notice? Okay, in case we have queries, then we can go towards the end of the session as well. Or during the session, you can just let me know and we can discuss about that. So let's continue further and see how it actually goes. So for this demonstration or this session, we would be using two different indicators. So the first indicator is NimblrTA Tracker. So as the name goes, it's a tracker. The purpose is very simple: quick entries and swift exits on any time frame. It may be on 1 minute time frame, 5 minutes time frame, 30 minutes time frame, hourly time frame, daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly. It may be any time frame which is supported by TradingView. It may be any instrument. It will work for everything. So it's a generic indicator which is built on multiple components. We won't be going into those details in this particular session, but the idea is it will help you for quick entries and swift exits. We have separate video recording for NimblrTA Tracker, which you can easily go on YouTube and you can watch them in more details. And in case there are questions, you can connect with me anytime. So over here, what it basically does, it helps you quick entries and swift exits, and it will be able to help you manage your position. If you have taken a position, it will tell you when to close that position. If you have already sold something, it will tell you that, okay, now things have reversed, you need to buy it. A very simple example on your screen, a simple one is IMCO Elico. So in this case, what is happening? It was falling down on a wave side and it gave you a buy. And then later on, it again gave you a sell. So what you may be able to enter is somewhere over here approximately, and somewhere over here you would be able to exit. At the entry of this particular candle, once this candle is breached on the downside, you will have the sell signal. So the whole part of this part is something you can easily cut down as soon as it goes within this candle range. And that is why we have this small arrow that it is going into the body of the previous candle. So these are all concepts of NimblrTA. And in case you have already done the course, it will be very much easy. In case you have not done it, you can always opt for it anytime later and be more familiar with the concept on which this screener is built. So this is NimblrTA Tracker. Purpose, very simple: quick entries, swift exit. It will give you buy and sell signals wherever possible on any time frame on any instrument. It may be stocks, it may be gold, it may be US oil, it may be DJI, it may be indices, it may be CNX, FMCG, it may be anything else which you may see. And since TradingView now also supports FNO, so that is equally, it will be working over there as well. So we will be going into more demonstration after we understand what all indicators we would be using in the whole demonstration. So the purpose is very simple. It will tell you buy and it will tell you sell, whichever time frame you are on. If you are doing an intraday, you should probably prefer, I usually do it on 30 minutes, and I also look into hourly charts. So hourly and 30 minutes give me a good idea of the trend, and the lower time frame helps me entry for the entries and exits. Similarly, if you are working on a positional side, so you could go through the weekly and monthly charts, and then based on the trend, you could decide that, okay, I continue to stay in this particular stock, or I should move out of a particular stock. Okay. Anything which is not clear until now, or something where I should stop and help you understand? Because this is the base, and based on this only, we will have to move ahead further. Okay, so we move on further. Will that be okay? Great. Okay. So now coming to the next indicator. The next indicator is called NimblrTA CCI. The purpose is very simple. It will help you, in a very simple terms, help you identify the health of the stock. If it is in good health, if it is in bad health, if the health is improving or health is deteriorating. That is what the indicator will tell you. We won't be going again more into the details of what all are the other things within this indicators. There are multiple things it can be used for. And again, we have dedicated sessions recordings for it, which are just 5 to 7 minutes. So you can familiarize yourself with how it actually works. But as an example, in the ecosystem where we are working, where a screener will give us a particular stock, and then we will try to quickly analyze it automatically through NimblrTA Tracker and NimblrTA CCI. And then if we find it fit for entry, we will enter it. In case we still enter a particular stock and it reverses, then again, these indicators, NimblrTA Tracker and CCI, will help us tell you that, okay, now you should exit this particular stock. It was a mistake you had done, and now the stock is reversed and you should quickly exit. So it will help you with the quick entries and swift exits. Over here again, NimblrTA CCI, this again is on trading view, and it will give you the information of CCI values. So what you see daily, weekly, monthly, these are the CCI values. It will give you the value of the score of a particular stock. Scores are basically a gauging mechanism, and you can compare different instruments and see which is doing better, which is lagging behind. So if you have, for example, HUL and Colgate. So now you would like to compare, I want to go in an FMCG sector, I want to compare which is better for entry. So you can just compare these two stocks based on score. Higher the score, it is better positioned and it has better momentum. So if the score is 12 and other stock has score 25, that would mean the one which is 25 score is already in momentum and it is ready to move up. But one which is of a score 12, it is yet to get into the momentum. In this NimblrTA CCI, we are working in a quadrant system. So there are four colors to the quadrant, which are red, blue, yellow, and green. So that is what this color is indicating. This background color is green. This line is green. That means it moved into quadrant one. What it actually means that stock has suddenly become bullish, right? So it has moved into quadrant one and the stock has become bullish. Prior to this, it was yellow color, which is quadrant two, and it was increasing in its core. It was gradually increasing and it was getting the strength, but it did not have the momentum. But as soon as it enters quadrant one, it gets the next gear to fly and move ahead with momentum. Similarly, prior to this, if you see over here, there's blue indication. that this NimblrTA score line was blue in color. That means it was in blue of health. It was there was not much momentum in it. It was reducing and it was weakening. And we are not seeing red over here, but then there's also red which will identify the stock as in sell momentum, and we should not be entering such stocks for a buy side, right? So very simple. Red, everybody knows it is sell. Green, it means bullish momentum and ready to fly. Then we are looking for orange, which is improving in health. It can do a cat bounce, it can do a retest and similar things. And on blue, it is reducing the score, which is weakening in nature, right? So the purpose is very simple. By looking at the color of this line or the color of the background of the score, or looking at the score, or looking at this CCI information, we will be able to judge that the stock which is screened, should we enter it or should we skip it? Although it may be good, it might be good for an intraday session, but for positional, it still is in blue of health and I should not be entering it. So those are the kind of decisions NimblrTA CCI will help me understand. Over here on this screen, if you see, there's a retest that is happening. There's a gap between the high of this candle and the low of the next candle. There is a gap. And at this moment of time, there's a gap retest. So the gap retest is identified and it is told to me by the screener that the gap has been retested, and I would have it already in my watch list. And next particular day, I can easily enter this particular stock and see how it actually is moving. Of recent days, if I see, so 223 was one of the signal which I recently got at 10:40 a.m. And then it started to move up. It went to almost 232, I think, that particular day. And that is just to help you identify how it actually went. It went to 230. You can see the high over here. So 223, you got it as an intraday signal. This is a daily chart, but the same chart, if you see it on a 5 minutes basis, you will be able to identify and see how it actually moves on, right? So just a summary of what we have discussed so far. So we are talking about a NimblrTA live screener, which is based on Telegram. There are other tools also, but the USP or the unique part of this particular screener is that it will help you with the pre-open analysis at 9:08 a.m. itself. So you will have time until 9:14. So that is, you will have complete 6 minutes. That is 300 seconds you will have to just go to those couple of 5, 6, 7, whatever stocks you are getting, and you could take a decision that okay, a particular stock is already in momentum and I got a gap up, so I might be able to take a position early. So one part of your position can go into such stocks and so on. Similarly, it will tell you how the gap retests are happening. It will tell you when the T candles are being formed, which are significantly leading to upper circuits. So there are multiple examples in the upcoming slides where we will be tracking trill, we will be getting E to E, we will be checking other stocks where we got such candles. ISMO is one of the recent examples we got, and so on. Then we get how the gaps are moving. So which are the stocks which are doing a gap up? Because if we have done the recent courses from Dishma, so we learn from different webinars that we need to track these gap up stocks. But the problem is, how do we track it? We, if we start at 9:15, 9:20, we wait for 9:20. These are the stocks which give you only 1, 2, 3 or less than 5 minutes, and they are gap ups. Then during the day you will not get an entry. Then how do you track it beforehand, before time? What is the process in actual tracking them? So this is more of a practical orientation through which the screener will help you in this particular process. Then we talked about NimblrTA Tracker, which can guide you for the swift exits and quick entries, and it will give you buy and sell signals. Apart from that, NimblrTA CCI, it will give you the score value, and it will give you the quadrant value as well. So it will help you identify how is the health of the stock, right? Now coming to some examples of how the indicator or how the indicators along with the screener becomes an ecosystem where screener is giving you the stocks or the instruments of interest at a particular lifetime during the market hours. During that time, you track it on different indicators. Those are NimblrTA Tracker and CCI, because then those can guide you for entries also, exits also, and help you take a decision or an informed decision in case you need to exit. So here is a daily chart of Premier Explosives, right? So I did not enter it at this point, although NimblrTA Tracker, which we claim that it is always giving you the quick entries and swift exits. So if you were tracking it through NimblrTA Tracker, you would have easily got the entry over here. Also, if you see the line from orange, it became green in color. And if you try to see it over here, green means it entered into quadrant 1. Prior to this, these were where it was in quadrant 2. It was in quadrant 3. It was in quadrant 2, quadrant 1. So now it entered into quadrant 1. Also, if you see these stocks, these candles are shunted at least till this particular point. So when you enter a particular stock, okay, yeah, we had somebody join in. Okay, so if you enter this particular stock, we can easily see that it is completely shunted, and we can go at least till this point. And this point I entered it because I got an arrow on NimblrTA Tracker telling that the recent high range has been crossed on the upside. You can call it a swing high, you can call it the previous high, and so on. So 1689 had been crossed, so that was my buy entry at this during this session. So I had entered this, and then it moved up. Subsequent day, it went within the candle body of this. I got an arrow that is it is going within the body. It can touch the open of this particular body. So I did not had to wait much. I just saw this sell signal. I closed my position. I was over here till somewhere over here. I got my points in 1 or 2 sessions. Overall, if you see, you were able to achieve 34% in just 8 sessions, and it is still in quadrant 1, right? So if you had entered based on NimblrTA Tracker, you would still be able to enter it, and you will not be selling it over here. Why? Because it is still in green of health. You get a lot of momentum over here. But my purpose is, let me put the money. Why should I even waste a little amount of money for the candle to come from 1896 to maybe 1760 or something that like that? It might be a shallow retrace, but why should I lose some of the profit which I've already gained? Rather than that, I would put that money into another stock which is timely. I'm getting those stocks timely. I will put the money over there, and then I will get a fresh rise, right? Similarly, now IMCO Alico. So over here, if you see, it will, I had an entry over here which is 1570. So this tells you that the crossing of the previous high has been moved on the upside. This was one of my entry on during the mid session, and then it moved on the upside. So approximately around 16 or 15 70 80 I had entered, and then I was able to move on the upside. It is still in green in color, right? And you got some points over here, and you can track it further how it is actually moving, and you can track it on the waves. If the previous high, this particular line is being crossed on the downside, you can easily quickly close it, right? So that is how you are actually using the indicators along with the signals. Why I had chosen IMCO Elco is because the screener had identified it, right? It was not just out of the blue that I had identified it and I wanted to go into this stock. No, it was because the screener has identified it on that particular day, and I was able to move it during the intraday session. Similarly, we have SKM egg products. So this was at 270. I am on a 5 minute chart, right, during the session, and I got the entry at 270. That day itself, it was 314, which was the upper circuit, right? So you get an entry at 927. So this is the first candle. Now 915, 920, 925, and somewhere over here you get an entry, right? And what you actually see it that the health of the stock is in green in color. You see a arrow, that means it is increasing. The score is increasing, which is a bullish sign. And you get a star over here. That means it has freshly entered quadrant 1. Right now, what you are seeing is the CCI value. If you move to the score value, we see how it is actually moving. So we were able to catch this particular stock just at 270, and the same day it went to for a upper circuit. It did open the upper circuit for some few 10 or 20 minutes, but then again it closed at that upper circuit itself. So you are able to do it, and next couple of days again it was upper circuit and then it went down. So I was able to track the entries, and then we were able to close that position timely as well. Similarly, SKF India, this is from yesterday. So SKF India 927, this is the screener which it gave me the information, and 4675 over here it gave me the information that this is a stock which looks interesting. It went up till 4777 and then it moved down. Again, it went to 4779. It was not able to cross this higher range, and then it became a lower high and then moved down. So I was still able to manage some position over here. I'd closed somewhere at this point. So that was decent profit enough for an intraday session, right? So this is on a 5 minutes chart. And why I was not very much interested to be in this particular stock for a very long, because it was blue, it was orange in health. It is not green in health. So it is kind of improving as of now. So that is why it may have a surge in the beginning of the morning and then it falls down because it doesn't have momentum on the higher time frame. Also on the lower time frame, it doesn't have that momentum. So that is something which is lacking, and that is something I never wanted to have a longer position in the stock, and we had closed that itself. So this is how your CCI will be helpful during the intraday as one of the questions. So this is orange. Orange is basically quadrant 2. So it is not in bullish of health. So it is improving, but it is not bullish. So in case you are not getting new highs over here, you are getting some lows, lower highs. So you should be careful and close your position in that case, right? Then again, SKF India, same stock over here. Now we look on a 30-minute basis. How it helped me on a 30-minute basis. So if you go for a particular stock, you see this is the open line, which is the orange line. You got an entry over here, and during the close session or during this complete session of the day, you are getting a sell signal over here. It tells you that you should sell over here, and you close your position, and you are not you are preventing whatever profit you had actually taken up. So you are just switching your time frame, 5 minutes for your entry over here and 30 minutes to track the higher time frame for the trend, right? Okay. Now again, if we move ahead further for this is MRPL. So MRPL at this moment of time, right? I got a gap retest at 9:43. This was the during that intraday session. I got a information at 9:43 that it is a gap retest. This is the gap which is there, which is plotted, and it is retesting that gap. Next day, it moved on the upside. If this was somewhere I got the information, it moved from here till here, right? So approximately 230 to 240, 42, it was still able to move in the next session. And then in the subsequent days, it moved on the downside. So a small surge was there. And if I was able to track it, you can get an entry from 230 to 240 approximately, or 238 or 239, and then you can close this, right? Over here with NimblrTA Tracker, you see that quadrant, it turned to green, it got a buy signal, and then it gave you a sell signal, and ever since it is still a sell signal. And there was a minor retest that happened on the gap side, which again on the intraday you can achieve it, or you can take benefit of the same information on the screener. Now, talking about ISMO, this was again the T candle which was formed. So ISMO, I got the information. This was on which date? 5th of April. And I got the information at 315, 9:27 a.m. I got this information. I took one position over here. It started to move up. Later on, it turned into a UC stock and it was closing at 344 itself. And what was interesting that it is again in green of health. The purpose of tracker is to track and help you identify some OHLC values, previous high, previous low, open, close, even give you buy and sell signals. And tracker is to tell you the health of the stock. When you combine these two along with the screener, it becomes a very easy visual judgmental call for you to say, okay, should I be entering this stock? It is in blue of health. I will say leave it. Let's not enter a stock which is in blue of health. But now if you see a particular stock which you would like to enter which is green in health, yes, definitely we would like to take a position. And if that is of an increasing score, or it has moved to quadrant 1 freshly, that is something which starts the spurt of the momentum. So that is the flowering point, that is the tip, that is the influx where you actually enter, and from there the actually flow begins. Coming to a spark over here, this again was a T candle. So during the day, you got the entry at 423.5. It closed at a UC. It is 433.65. So this was at 10:18 a.m. So all you need to do is to track that, okay, I am getting an entry over here. It is in green in stock. It is increasing in score. The count is 37. Count means it took 37 candles from sell momentum to buy momentum, and it is star, that is it has freshly entered quadrant. We have four quadrants and it has moved to quadrant 1. Similarly, NCC just a day. So again, it is green in color. I get an entry over here. I let it flow 262. I got an entry, and later on 277, 278.5. These are some values which it moved ahead, right? So this is on a 5 minutes. This was an intraday session for me. And if you look at the daily charts as well, you may want to continue this stock for overnight position or for longer position because it is still in green in health, right? That is what the information is from this indicator. Similarly, Salzer Electronics over here, this was a retest. At this point, 806, I got a retest, right? This is the first candle, this is the second candle, there's a gap between this. So the gap range, it is retesting, touching this gap. I got the information at 1434 that, okay, there's a gap which is there, which has been retested. I was interested to take a small position in it. I took a position, and next day it moved to around 847 or 48, something like that. So you can see next couple of days it moved to a new high. You got the entry at 806 and it moved to 840, 45 plus. So you are able to get the retest entries, and those are much more safe because stock is actually retesting its support and checking if the support was strong, if my footing is strong, if my groundwork was strong to move up. So that is how it actually helps you out. Similarly, what was the next part? That it also moved to quadrant 1 over here. It was in quadrant 2 orange line, and now it has turned to green line. Similarly, we have ASL. So this was the entry point over here, 667. The whole same day itself, it went up and touched around 727, and it was green in health. So that becomes a very simple choice for anybody to track with the scores and the CCI values and the quadrants. Okay, we have Hin Petro. So over here, Hin Petro was a gap retest, and this was the gap between two candles. It was retested, and the entry was 453. It went little bit even below that value, 447 or something. It went, and then next couple of days, it was again retesting it again and again, 2 days, and then it gave you a surge, right? So 490. So 2 or 3 sessions, because this is a daily chart, to 2 to 3 sessions, you're getting 490 from 453. That is 40 points. That also in HPCL. So nothing better can happen on a stock like HPCL, right? And in case it starts to move down on this, you already know that, okay, you have one position and then you should close that position as well, right? You can always use NimblrTA Tracker on the lower time frame to track, or hourly chart or 30 minute chart to see how it is actually moving, and then it will help you with that information. Similarly, we have Avas over here. gap up stock which was given 927, it moved on the upside. 1620 was done, it was given at 1498 by the screener. And then over here we see that okay, it is in quadrant 2. However, we see momentum over here, and it has on 30 minutes also we have momentum, so we continue to stay on a particular stock, and next day if it reverses, we close that position. Very simple. Zomato. So Zomato again, 189 was there, and of recent it did 192 or 93, more than that. So that day itself it was 191.8. It gave, then it was giving another lower high. So it becomes a very simple choice for entry, and it is in green and health. So I would like to continue my position, and I might not want to close it on an intraday basis because the stock has momentum on a positional side. Similarly, ICIGI, this was a stock which was given at 1710 because it was an impulse. However, it moved on 1723, 28 on that particular day. Subsequent day, it did a reversal and it did not move up. So I had to close that position. But on this particular day, we could easily track it that, okay, it's in green and health, score is improving. So it looked very bullish. But the next day itself, as long as 1710 was not uh, it was breached, we had to close that position because then we don't want to stay in a stock which is on the losing side. It's better we have lots of stocks and those are scanned and screened every few minutes, and that helps us to identify stocks and move into a newer one which has a better flow. Blue Star over here again, it was at 80h value the day previously, and recently it did a gap retest. So there's high, there's a low, between them there's a gap. Even from the significant previous candle there's a gap which was retested. So these two candles there's a gap. 1383 it was identified, it closed at 1419. So you are getting 17 points over here and 19 points over there, so 34 36 points you are getting it, right? So that is almost 3% you are getting it during the intraday session itself. You got this information at 1134 and you are looking at this stock on a daily basis, right? So it has moved up and you are getting almost 2 to 3% on a stock which is at 80h and it did a gap retest. So that is something which we are getting. If you had seen only the quadrant part, you would see the green quadrant it moved to from here itself. There's a ICMC breakout, and from 1220, 1280 to around 1485, it has moved up from just checking this, how the quadrant has changed on the daily time frame. Similarly, KDDL, I got a buy signal over here. Buy signal was, as we always say, it's quick entries and swift exits. So NimblrTA Tracker is able to give you the fastest possible buy signal over here. The quadrant system tells you, okay, the quadrant has changed over here, and the live screener also give you an entry. And during that 2671 was the entry at 10:08. So that was one of the point, and later on it moved to 2741. So almost 30 points here and 40 points. So you're getting 70 points just in a closing day. Similarly, this is methane alloy. So 1140, you got the signal. 1203 was the high, and you got a buy signal here already, which we always say it as quick entries and swift exits. I'm on a 30-minute chart. It recently crossed the previous high. It was creating a lower low, a recent high. I got the impulse signal over here. It moved on the upside. It created a high, and it was green in health. So I continue to stay in the stock, or if you are interested, you can even close it for an intraday basis. So that is up to you if you would like to keep that stock for an intraday or use it for a positional. And the indicator would be able to guide you on that. CDSL. So this is we had entered recently. So 90, yeah, this was the previous session yesterday. So 1942, oh, you got the signal. You were able to track an entry. There was a retest which is happening. So it goes down. You get an entry, and then it started to move up. Uh, Almost 2000, 2002, 2008, it had closed approximately. So it is again green in health all throughout. It is green in health. So there's nothing to worry about. You continue to stay in this stock. When the health changes to orange or you see some other signals for buy or sell, then you can easily come out of that stock. The Crompton, again, you get a buy signal, you get a sell signal, so you are able to move it. Bharti Airtel. Now we are talking more on the weekly and daily time frame usage of the screener as well as the indicators. So you see from here the green signal from orange to green it happened from here itself, and you are able to move from for around 25%, which is only in 15 weeks. So you are able to move. It is all green all throughout this point. Similarly, dredging corp. So this was yesterday's. We got the signal, but somehow it closed on the higher side, so I could not get the stock entry. But then again, I was looking at the chart for dredging corp. So 15% in 9 sessions. So this is a daily chart. 9 sessions, you are getting 15% over here. So these are 9 candles, and as soon as it entered quadrant one, you you can always take an entry and then flow with it. It is still in green of health. Similarly, SKM egg, this we talked about in the previous parts. It's the same chart but on the hourly. So we got an entry over here, and you did not even get any point over here. It was a hash candle or a dash candle where you do not get any entry itself. The next session you got entries if you wanted, and then it was a sell. So you got a buy signal, you got a sell signal. You close this. As soon as you see this, you close this. You are getting orange in health. Let's close this one. It was not able to sustain above this open line. This was the open line. This was the open line. So if you see, you got one entry. So it is probably on the starting part of the day, maybe first 5 minutes, you get an entry. Here was another entry. Again, gap up, another entry. Here, no entry was possible. So if you are not alert at this point, which is 9 o'clock or 9:07, you will not be able to get this entry because 9:05 or 9:15, by that time itself the entry would be closed. So first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes are the most critical in stock market. So if you are getting the timely signals before that, you should use it. Similarly, data patterns over here. So an entry over here and it enters the quadrant one, and you continue to move it. UPL on an intraday basis, since it is blue in health, so I was not very interested to keep it for, it was an impulse signal, but since it was blue in health, so I did not wanted to keep it for a longer time. So it was 494 and it did 400 and 504. So approximately 502 or 3 probably I had closed that position because it was in blue health, so I did not wanted to keep it for a longer overnight position as well. Similarly, SADA energy, we talked about this one earlier. So we got the signal over here, we got an entry, and then again we got a new signal. We again got one entry. It is in green of health. Genus power, again, as soon as it is turning quadrant one, entry is happening. You got this signal, and later on 268, 269, it also touched the UC, but it was not able to sustain at that moment at the closure point. So it was 4.80 only, although it had done a UC at 268.80 on this particular day. Similarly, info edge. So you got an entry buy, you get a sell signal, you get 25% in 7 sessions, which is 12 trading days. You are able to achieve this. And as soon as you get the sell signal, you close it, you come out of the stock. Another reason can be you may want to stay in this stock even though it is in orange of health. But then for me, I always prefer as soon as it turns from green to orange, I move out of the stock because then there are new stocks which are waiting. So why should I wait for this to come at least till this point retest? When it will retest this, I will again get a signal at 5800. If it retest, I will get a signal. That time I will enter it, right? Why should I waste my money from almost 6100 to 5800, right? 300 points there, I will not be able to waste. Exide Industries, again, as soon as the quadrant changes, it moved from here till over here. So this is an hourly chart, and you see 54 hours, it was able to move approximately 27%, 27.21% in 54 hours. It was able to move as soon as the quadrant has changed orange to green. It changed, you take an entry over here, keep moving upside, upside, upside. It is still in green, carry forward. DOMS, this was again stock on watch, which I mentioned that it was provided during the intraday session. So I got an entry over here, and 1730, 1760 was the point over here. If you had been using NimblrTA Tracker, then it will give you a buy and the sell signal here itself. Similarly, Vedanta, so this is the pre-open session itself at 0908. You are getting it at this point, 0908 you are getting even before the market. As soon as the market opens, you would be able to see that 2.66 already gap up it has done and 347. And now the open of the day is 347.1, which is the this point. And how it goes 372, right? So 347 to 372, that is what it started, and this information is provided to you as the open of the day. GPIL, again similar story, 12% in as soon as it entered quadrant 1. So 12% rise you are getting it, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, around 11 to 11 hours. So in 11 hours you are getting this much rise as soon as it has entered quadrant 2 to quadrant 1. It was in blue, it was in orange, and as soon as it touched, this is the inflex point which I am talking about. So this inflex point, you get a signal with NimblrTA Tracker. You get a I have uh, you get the buy signal over here. Since I have enabled only recent buy, so this was the last recent buy. Otherwise, if I have enabled more signal, you will get a buy here, you will get a buy here as well, right? But that becomes too many buy and sell signals, so it's better I keep the charts clean. Similarly, MCX, you got the sell signal over here, you got the buy signal over here. It entered quadrant, and I am on a daily chart, 22% rise in 9 sessions. Simple. Hindalco, again, 6% rise in 4 sessions. NMDC, 19% rise in 7 sessions. It was a sell. Next subsequent ICMC buy was there, a quadrant change, it moved on the upside. Again over here, it has moved on the downside. So if you want, you can exit here, then you can again enter here. That's not a problem, because I saw that it was shunted. So I did not wanted to close it, because this was something I would like to enter, because this is already shunted on this particular point. Intellect design. So this was, again, I had to close my position. Initially I was thinking that probably it would go on the upside, but it turned on the other way, so I had to close my position. I had taken my position somewhere over here, I had taken it, and then I had to close in different parts. So I closed the position once it moved over here within this range, then this range, and then the final one in this range. And soon as I'm getting a sell signal already over here, it is moving on the downside. So it has basically moved 9% on the downside after it has lost the quadrant 1 to quadrant 2. It has moved 9% on the downside. Trill, this was a wonderful example, and we need to identify this ICMC breakout. Next day itself, I got this information on the screener. I was able to take a position, and then since then it has been a complete circuit, and almost 79% increase, 79% increase in just 14-15 days. So it's every day it's a UC. The other day itself, again, it was a UC. Webel Solar, again, you get a buy signal over here and 50% rise as soon as it changed from quadrant orange to quadrant green. You get a buy signal over here, and then you get a sell signal over here. Again, you want to enter it, you can again enter it. You are getting the arrow that it is trespassing, and again it can continue its rise on the upside. However, since I have already exited it, I would like to go for something which is freshly moving to quadrant 1. So I want to capture this particular wave. It may retest later on. It might even come to 485. That time we will see it when it goes. Cummins, again, similar story. I am on a weekly chart. I got 81% rise in 22 weeks. So I got the buy signal over here. I had done my analysis earlier. I got the buy signal over here. It carry forward, moved up. It is in green, 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 still green. I keep moving on the upside. Rico, this is on a weekly chart. I got a buy signal. It moved 68% in just 6 weeks. Hind Copper. This again, there were multiple. Every day the screener will work. It will help you identify the stocks. So this was the earlier entry when it had given the information. 286 it had given. Right now it is 362. Then recent day again I had taken another position in it. So that was again I had taken one position at that moment of time. Jay Balaji, this one of the best stocks which I have ever entered.
And then right now again, if you see quadrant changes, it moved from here to here. It has done 112% rise, 60 sessions, 33% in 10 sessions. In just 2 sessions itself, it is able to move 13%. So this is a daily. So I got a recent buy signal is over here. So and again it is creating a compression and there's a gap up. So I'm still waiting. Either it goes below this gap range, then probably I will close it, or this one becomes orange, then probably I will close it. But as of now, it looks very interesting point because it is a giving you a compression. It is in Q1 RRG. It is already a gap and support is already there at the gap. GT, this is a stock, a wonderful stock. I have entered it so many times, like multiple times I have entered, multiple times I have exited, but a wonderful stock. If you, we were able to catch it at around 222 or 25 values, and then multiple times since then we have entered and exit. So the idea is very simple. This is a weekly chart. On weekly chart, I get a sell. If I was over here, I would close it over here. Since I see that it has gone into orange of health, I get a sell signal also. So I will not like to stay in this stock anymore. And then I will move to new stocks. VLE Gov, this was one of the recent buys, and then again we had closed the position at 68 point something. So earlier too, it moved from 38 to almost 74, 76, maybe even higher. So that was one position which we had taken, and later on retest we had taken another position. So this is buy over here, 32% rise, 6 sessions, very simple. GKW, this is again yesterday, this is the T candle I have been talking about. So you get this information that it has moved down, it has opened on the new UC. During the day, it has moved down, and during this tail, you have to catch hold of this tail so that it takes you to the UC. So this is the alert you actually get. So we had entered it again multiple times in the history as well, but then over here it was entered on 1st of April, and there was a buy signal earlier. NimblrTA Tracker, it moved to quadrant one. I had entered over here during this day and then still riding that particular stock. So these are something we wanted to see, and the idea of having a batch over here is very simple, that we would all like to go together, holding each other's hand, and then we work together. So the idea is very simple, that NimblrTA screener is there. It will help you screen the stocks. Along with it, tracker and CCI will help you guide if you should continue with the stock being held with you, or then you should exit that position, right? So you can see how the entries and exits are happening. You could even track how the quadrants and the scores are moving. And a new batch would be starting on 15th April. And in case you are interested, then you can either take only the screener, you can be part only the screener, or you could even take a combo where you take the screener as well as the tracker and the CCI indicator as well. So the combo is also available. So available for a month and 3 months. So this is the introductory price as of now, since we are starting a new service, and then later on it will be revised further. So, is there any questions that you would like to see? Apart from that, we can even quickly go through the screener right now. So we can see some random stocks, one or two stocks over here, how it has actually gone through. So this is a screener, and I am keeping some history over here, at least for one week. So we can just see how it actually went on and what all stocks were given to it. So let me just go over here. So see, this is something that this is the earliest on Monday. You got so many gap ups over here, and these are the stocks. So on Monday, if you get 1310, and this is in the morning itself session 0908. So from my experience, first couple of five or six are usually the stocks of the day. I have normally seen it, not necessarily, but yeah, over a period of usage of this indicator, you would be able to track it. So if we go for Monday, today is Saturday. So on Monday 8th, Voltas was there, right? 1310. So if we go on Voltas over here, which was given to me at the pre-open session at 0908. So Monday, yeah, this is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay, it was this Monday. Yeah. So this is where I got the signal, right? On this particular day, I got the signal. And if I try to see where it has actually gone, it has done 1392 during the intraday session, right? I got the signal at 1310. That was even before the market opening at 0908. I got this information, and it during the intraday session, it was able to move to a higher value 1392. Similarly, it will give you a sector sentiment as well based on number of stocks which are gap up. It will categorize how many are power, finance, technology. It's gives you some information on which sector might be there, or which probably IT industry would be there, or maybe energy metals should be interest. You should be looking into those particular specific stocks. Then next particular day, you get some other list of stocks. Then at 9:16 you get again the same thing. So at 9:16 voltas which I had entered, so it was 1321 already, and in the morning at 0908 it was 6.3%, and it was 1310. So almost 11 points it has just moved up within the first minute of the session. Similarly, during the day you will be able to get some retest, as we talked about. So you, as and when the retests are happening, you will get those information during the day, and later part of the day at 3:26 you will get a summary of what all stocks have done a retest, right? S- Now if we come to the recent part over here, how it worked on the other day. So you could easily see that it giving you a summary. It is giving you which stock is giving creating a T candle, which are the 88 stocks. This is at the almost at 326. Already during the day, it has already given some information, right? So it has given that information where it was actually detected, and now it is just summarizing that information for you, so that for the next session it will be easier. Which are the positional swing stocks? So NDL now, or you can, so NDL, if you see, when was it already given to you earlier? So it was at 39.3. It was already given to you on the on same Friday. Now it is 43.7, and it was given on yesterday itself at 39.3. Some stocks which have been provided and they were given as a retest are these. Similarly, NDL again on Tuesday itself, it was at 36.05. It has given a gap retest, and that time it was 36, and now it is 43. So that's a huge information that you are getting during your scanning hours of the market. So as we talked about, it will give you the range breakouts. It will give you the information. Let me show you CDSL, which was entered yesterday. So yeah, this was at 0929, right? So CDSL, if I go for it, 0929, let me be on a chart. Hmm. So let me turn on the tracker. So this is approximately where I got the signal, right? This is the 0929. This is the same signal over here. I got the entry over here, and it started to move on the upside. This is the ORBH line, which has been crossed 1944. It has been able to cross this line successfully. It went down, but there's a no overlap. It keeps on moving on the upside. And again, it is in green of health. If I go for the daily chart, I can see the recent previous swing high has been crossed, and it is green in health. It has moved to a fresh quadrant. Very interestingly, it has moved from quadrant 3 to quadrant 1 directly, which is a big jump. So it was blue. It again suddenly became to green. So blue to green is jumping of one complete quadrant. That is what it signifies, and there might be some retest over here, and then maybe then it can easily move on the upside. So this is the information regarding uh, the live screener. On similar basis, we have another screener which is specifically for FNO, and same thing, everything remains same. Only thing is the stocks will be limited because these will only be FNO stocks which will be available to you. Naveen Fluorine, if we try to just check randomly some of the stocks which were identified. So if you see Naveen Fluorine over here on Wednesday, 3228. That is the value it had given, 1212. And now if you see the same stock from Wednesday till now, 3296. So almost 70, 80 points it has just moved on the upside, right? This candle was being formed during that intraday session when we had entered it. But then I did not wanted to keep it because it was blue and held. So I thought maybe it will be better for me to go for other stocks. So I did not take it as a positional trade. It was just an intraday I was looking into that time. So that is basically how we actually use the screener along with some other indicators. So is there something which you would like to discuss? Because then I am done with the uh, discussion. And just for everybody's information over here, there are some links to some threads which you can easily go through and learn more. Most of it we have already covered, but then gradually you can learn further things regarding it. So, and as I mentioned, we would be starting a batch on Friday, on Monday, which is 15th. The idea is very simple. Anybody who's interested, we all go hand in hand because then we will be in the same batch, and then we can have further discussions internally. And also the starting time and the closing time of the batch would be same. So it will be more synchronous that everybody is entering the batch in the same time and the batch concludes, and if you want to renew it you can be a part of the subsequent batch as well. So that is how it would uh, go further. So any queries from your side? Yeah, basically for FNO, again, it's the same thing. It's just two different screeners. So either you can be of part of this or part of that. So you can just let me know which one you want to be of.
Mr. Khanna, one question. In the screener message, can you mention the time frame on which the you have screened that? Because it may be lower time frame or higher time frame or something like that.
As a general practice, mostly I work, since I mentioned that we work mostly on the quadrant part. Quadrants are on daily time frame. These quadrants, the scores and everything, they are assessed on a daily time frame. So daily, weekly, monthly is the time frame where I start my analysis with. And especially for any signal which is even coming on the intraday, the quadrant part or the higher time frames are looked into them mostly. But then in case of impulse, it can be like UPL as we saw, those things are not taken care. So impulse is something which is just impromptu because that can lead to a complete reversal in itself. Apart from that, the range breakouts and other information, those are available on a higher time frame.
Okay.
Because the idea is that because we don't want to have such stocks suddenly you got momentum, it goes out of momentum. We are looking for stocks with some stability, right? And that is only possible when you have something on backing them on the higher time frame, right? It may be daily, weekly, or monthly. So something should have happened over there. That is the reason you are getting it on the intraday, or maybe it's a ATH gap. That is another reason altogether. So gap is the main point. Pre-open and the gap, that is the complete point. You get the information as 0908, which guides you during the session how things are actually moving on. So if you see MCX over here, so any stock that we may see, VDL, Vedanta we talked about, and other stocks as well. So you got this information in the morning session itself, 9/8 itself, you got this information. 9/16 again, you got the same information that it was 1.33 and percent up, and the next one it was 1.14, not did not move much, and all gaps you get 3987 and so on. You are getting this live information on different impulse, different stocks, because it is giving you a positional swing, it is giving you a gap retest, it is giving you a gap information, and so on. So that is how you will continue to move it. Okay, can you please provide more info on the batch activity and its uses? So, see, the batch is very simple. The idea of the batch is that it is completely automated. So there's no interaction. Nobody will be interacting with you. You will be getting access to the screener. You will be getting access to the NimblrTA Tracker and NimblrTA CCI in case you are opting for that particular package. And based on that, you will get your own judgment when the stocks are arriving on your screen. So example, bhel is there. You will check, okay, bhel, how it is actually behaving. So you would see, okay, it is already green in health, and the quadrant it moved on this side, and I continue to stay in this particular stock. And as soon as you will get a sell signal, you can easily close it, or in case you see a orange over here from green to orange, you can close that position. So the batch is only to streamline and help the individuals joining and closing date together, because then there will be individuals who would be joining on 20, 21st, 27th, and then we will keep adding them. They will lose the benefit, because now the idea is that now, since all of you are having this orientation or this discussion, now when you see it on Monday, when you work on the screener, it will be more beneficial, right? So then it becomes a complete batch. Once that batch is over and there are other people who are interested, then probably we will share this recording with them, and then we can have further follow-up recordings as well. So the idea of the batch is to just help you understand how to use the tool in a better manner, because completely understand many of you might be not might not be able to understand what these many signals are doing and how to use it. Now, if you are getting a particular signal, it is not in a green quadrant, you will not enter it. As simple as that. So there's a indicator which is telling you what quadrant. There's an indicator which is telling you what is the fastest possible buy, fastest possible sell, which will work on daily, weekly, monthly basis. So this is on daily. Now, even if you see it on a time frame, which is, I just enable this buy and sell over here. So you will get where you got the buy signal, you got the sell signal on a 30 minutes time frame. I got the buy signal, I got the sell signal. Quick entry, swift exit. I just see it on the time frame of hourly. So I would be able to get again a buy entry at the open session, and at the closing I will get a sell signal. So I will get this information. If I'm on a weekly, I will get a buy signal and I continue to hold it because it is in green. So whichever time frame you may have, you can easily use these indicators. So this stock screening which help you identify the stocks, and the indicators will help you take your position or even close your position in case the momentum is changing. So that is the purpose of the batch. It is just to keep everybody together. Tracker will give the alerts. How do we get the charts you are showing? Yeah, tracker will not give you alerts. It will just give you the signals. Like if you're talking about signals, it will buy and sell signals will be there. So you just apply this indicator. I will be providing you the details in case you are interested. So once you take any of the plan, so based on that plan, you will have these indicators, or you can easily opt for this screener itself, and it will give you buy and sell signal. As soon as you apply this indicator, it will start giving you buy and sell signal. So if I am looking for signal on coal India, I will open coal India, and on weekly it will assess it and give you a buy. So it gave you a sell signal over here, it gave you a buy signal over here, it is in green quadrant. So from here it has given you a buy. If you are on a daily chart, again recent sell and again a recent buy. If you are on a monthly chart, it will tell you that this was when we had actually entered 230. That time quadrant change has happened. So this is 230 approximately where we had actually entered, and then we are still in this particular stock. Similarly, on 5 minutes, if you want to see how it is going, so it will keep on giving you buy and sell signal, even on hourly chart, weekly chart, monthly chart, and so on. It will keep on analyzing your stock based on whichever time frame. But as a general practice, if you are trading on an intraday, look for 30 minutes or hourly charts. And if you are on a positional basis, you have taken a position from a bit longer perspective, then look for at least daily and weekly chart. quadrant numbers are mentioned. Yeah, so for that quadrant, as I mentioned, so there are numbers over here. These are the scores which are there. These are the CCI values over here. So there's a complete session which is for 5 or 7 minutes on YouTube for this NimblrTA CCI. So you can just go through that session and it will help you align what exactly we are actually doing in that particular indicator. So it tells you more into detail how to read this score, how to have that information. So if you just go on the YouTube, you will be able to identify it. Let me just open it. Yeah, like you can go on this YouTube channel. I'll just paste it over here and you can just click. So it tells you about hyper momentum. It tells you about the score, the quadrant change, fresh entries to the quadrant, CCI values. It tells you about the RRG and information. So now if you just click over here, I have shared the link. So you can go through the videos over here. So we have been talking about information regarding the yeah, this is NimblrTA CCI. So 4 or 5 minutes, 10 minutes video altogether. It will give you a complete overview of how these quadrants work and how this information will go through. So maybe 10 minutes if you can spend, you will get little bit more insight of how the quadrant works, right? Okay, then if no more queries, then we can conclude for the day. And then I'll have this recording and we'll share it further also. And in case you have any further queries, you can just reach out to me and I will be more than happy to help you out with whatever I can. Okay, thank you so much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, KK. Thank you.
Thank you.